Where does the value go on projects? So many projects fail on one dimension or another. What happens to the value on both sides of the equation, the costs and the value side? So here's a question for you. What is the likelihood of your project delivering all of the available benefits at the optimum cost? The answer can be said to be 60-60. To understand what this means, you have to watch this video. Value loss is something that most projects don't see, and this is why it's so often not managed, because it's not measured. In this video, we're going to show you the results of research that we conducted around the world to identify the drivers and destroyers of project value. Our findings, which were very new when we found them in the 90s, have since been confirmed by subsequent studies by Deloitte, Gartner, Standish and others. When you look at a project, it has an optimum cost, the minimum cost which it can be effectively delivered, and the total available value, the total business value available for the scope or value proposition agreed. For any project, whatever size, there's 100% available value and 100% optimum cost. The question is, what happens next? So let's start by looking at the value side. 25% of benefits are not identified by the business case process. It may surprise you to hear that we found the business case process was the greatest single destroyer of value. This is because business cases are designed to get the project justified, to get it approved, to get the funds. In most organisations, it is not designed to identify the full potential value of the project. Therefore, once you have enough benefits to justify the costs, you stop and you don't look for any more. Why look for more benefits when you don't need to? Yet the whole point of projects is to deliver benefits, the maximum available benefits. Meanwhile, the way organisations go about business cases destroys a lot of value. If you look at this figure, 25% plus, that's a quarter of your potential benefits missed before you start. And to focus on improving this, you have to change your business case and value proposition processes, which is not difficult to do, but is urgent in most organisations. Anywhere between 5% and 100% of the value can be lost through scope changes. Here I've only taken 5%, which is very, very conservative. I've often seen projects where scope changes have cumulatively destroyed all of the value that was anticipated, usually unknowingly. If you look at most scope change forms, they do not identify the impact of the proposed scope change on the benefits and value. What they do identify is the impacts on the cost, effort and time, but not on the value. So, quite often, to come in within budget, a seemingly small change to the scope can be approved that actually destroys a major portion of the value to be delivered. For example, in a recent case, a project under budget pressure was de-scoped by one module. When we did the business case for this project, we found that 60% of the benefits came from this one module. It had to be reinstated. But the original proposal to de-scope was proposed, agreed, and nobody asked what the value impact was. To improve benefits and value through better scope management, you have to improve your project scope management processes and the governance processes that approve these changes, so they don't approve changes that will destroy the project's value. Anywhere between 5 and 50% of benefits are unrealized on or after delivery. When the project stops, so do most other things. Attention to the project and attention to actually realizing the benefits also stop. The project and governance teams dissipate and get on with their lives. Yet, when projects are delivered, often 50% or more of the benefits are yet to be realized. Some of these benefits will come automatically as a result of delivering the project, whereas the rest, the other 70 to 80% of benefits, have to be actively realized. To increase the number and value of benefits realized, you will need to change your benefits and change planning processes to target the realization of post-project benefits. Then, even when the benefits have been achieved, 5% or more can be not sustained after realization. They can be lost through people reintroducing steps that are no longer needed, keeping Excel spreadsheets or databases that should have been supplanted, not using the system or solution to the maximum effect, thereby incurring additional costs. This 5% again is a very conservative number. Benefits realization loss can be reduced by improving change planning so that it builds in steps to sustain achieved benefits, plus a better benefits realization process to make sure that the benefits once achieved are not lost. And 20% of available benefits are not delivered during the projects, and this delays them and sometimes destroys them. It is often said and often believed that the project benefits come at or after the end of the project. This is not so. We've consistently shown you can deliver around 20% or more of the benefits during the project. To achieve this, you just need to start to think of the project as a change project rather than as a systems project. When you think of a project as a change project, there are often changes you can make today, tomorrow, next month, within 3 months' time, that can deliver immediate benefits. And in addition to delivering early value, this approach reduces the net cost of the project because you're banking benefits, builds confidence of both the project team and the business that the project can deliver. You may hope that these benefits, even though they are delayed, will still be achieved, but sometimes they can be lost, overwhelmed by the overall change workload. The delivery of early benefits can be increased by improving the planning and delivery processes so as to enable and encourage organisational changes to be made during the project. Plus, benefits can be lost due to the late delivery of the project. Every day, week or month that your project is late, you have foregone the benefits that otherwise would have been achieved. These are not the initial benefits that are foregone, but the full benefits that are available at the end of the life cycle of the whole investment. In a recent case, we assessed a project that was delayed by 6 months. Its initial benefits were said to be $180 million. The 6-month delay took out $60 million, 1/3 of those benefits. That's a sizable chunk of benefits being lost. These were benefits at the end of the benefit calculation period. Avoiding project delay is critical to not losing your benefits, which can often be achieved by improving your business outcomes definition process so it's quite clear what you're trying to achieve, and then the delivery planning processes so as to streamline your projects. So what you've seen here is that it's not uncommon for investments to lose 60% or more of their available value during and after the project. The important phrase here is available value. This is not what was necessarily identified in the business case, but what is actually available and can be achieved, even if it was not identified. When we generate value propositions for existing projects, we often double or more the identified value, because we identify all the benefits. This is just value lying on the table, not identified or targeted, and therefore not likely to be realized. So that's one side of the equation. Now let's look at the cost side. Well, there's a sort of cost overhead of cancelled projects. 15% of projects are cancelled, fail, or deliver nothing. This represents a sort of tax of $150,000 per $1 million of investment. This figure has been consistent for many, many years, and I personally proved it in multiple industries. You never want the number of projects cancelled to be zero, because you do want to have to try things out, explore opportunities, and then cull them if they're not working. Also, you do want to stop projects that have gone off the rails or have become irrelevant. But the key is to cancel them early and fast. So the cost of project cancellations can be reduced by improving your project initiation and project investment management processes so that they cull projects early when they're not going to be successful. This we would call a lost capital overhead cost on all projects. Now, the development cost and ongoing operational costs can be 20% higher than necessary. This is the opportunity cost of not defining your business requirements effectively. We've consistently shown over the last 20 years you can eliminate at least 40% of the process steps across end-to-end processes. And this translates into a 20% reduction in both operating and project costs, because you now have a simpler, less complex process that requires less training, coding, configuration, testing, and ongoing operational costs. By simplifying business requirements, you can achieve substantial operational gains, but this has become a lost art. It's been skipped or skimped in many cases, or just done at a narrow functional level. And the cost of this failure is not only a 20% increase in workload and cost on the project, which could have been avoided, but also the ongoing increase in operational costs and building these into the future as ongoing operational costs. The cost of projects and operations can be reduced substantially through the adoption of quick, easy but thorough business simplification processes. 15 to 20% of rework is incurred, which is not necessary. Consistently, the research has shown the amount of actual rework on the project is often between 30 and 35%, which is a staggering number. There are a whole number of reasons why this is the case, but one of the main reasons is lack of a clear direction, a set of clear, specific business outcomes and clear, specific business requirements. So what happens is that work is done and then found to be not correct, not appropriate, doesn't work, is irrelevant or whatever, and has to be done again. Again, you don't want rework to be zero, but you don't want it to be above 15%. It can be reduced by improving your project outcome definition process, better aligning the technical and business aspects of the project, and improving your delivery planning processes. Here we've taken a 15% cost, but it could be a lot higher. And then costs can increase by anywhere up to and over 100%. And I'm sure you've all seen projects that have gone over 100% over their original budget for whatever reason. Often the reason is that the project started off heading in the wrong direction and just continued and continued and continued. I like to say that projects are a bit like trains on railway lines. Once you're on a certain set of tracks, you can't just turn left or right to correct. You have to go back to an early part of the project and start again, this time on the right tracks. Unfortunately, what tends to happen, as one of my clients put it, is when people find they're on the wrong tracks, instead of going back and starting again, they try and build new tracks across from where they are to where they should have been at great cost, and usually don't make it. Project cost overruns can be reduced by improving your project outcomes definition and change planning processes to make sure you know all that needs to be done in what sequence so that you achieve the right outcomes. To come in way under budget, you need to be smarter in how you define your work up front and focus more on how you plan and deliver every step in the process. So the result is a simultaneous combination of a declining value of 60% and an increasing cost of 60%. Hence the 60-60 likelihood figure I gave you at the beginning. We usually tell organisations that there's a cumulative loss around 50% of the available value on projects, which is a combination of spending too much and getting too little. Not on every project, but on average across the portfolio. So you are delivering less value for more costs. This is a result of the orthodox project delivery paradigm that TOP was set up to address. And what we've done over the past 20 years is to prove a new approach to delivering strategic and business projects that actually deliver on time, on budget, and all of the available benefits. This is not utopia or Shangri-La, but just a different way of thinking about and approaching projects. An approach that is business-based rather than cost or technology-based. Top programs have been specifically designed to directly address these value loss and cost increase drivers. We've shown that you can deliver more projects and more value in less time and for less cost. That's the top promise. This is possible when you take a new value-focused approach to strategy and value delivery instead of an orthodox cost and project delivery focus to just projects. For more information on these programs, the rationale behind them, the research available, it's all available at the top website. If you want to succeed, come and visit us. It really is that simple.